Ibrahim, as always, for of course coming through. Well, as I just mentioned, the yesterday's sessions were adjourned to today. Now, has sessions began, and what formality is getting ready or to be done at the moment at the National Assembly?
Thank you very much, Amadou. Here at the National Assembly in Banjul, today's session is yet to start because it is 9 o'clock and sessions are supposed to start by 10. But what normally happens prior to the beginning of session is for the National Assembly members to arrive, and then certain protocols are being observed. That is to have the National Assembly members having their bilateral, multilateral, talking on issues, reflecting on the what happened yesterday, and knowing that today is supposed to be a very busy day, also important day, looking at the motion before them. So for the meantime, it is a bit early for the National Assembly to start sitting, but later on or in the next 1 hour, so sessions will officially begin.
All
As you
right.
can
Now,
see,
this is a case of emergency. Does it appear that members of the National Assembly are not concerned?
this is a good question. We also tried to post on the site with some National Assembly members yesterday to say that Gambia is battling with the coronavirus COVID-19 that is having 4 cases so far. 2 are discharged, and Gambia registered 1 death, and 1 is still receiving medication. So looking at the nature of the disease, according to doctors, so it is, a good question to ask. Why is the National Assembly trying to take more time to scrutinize what the president has done or not, instead of focusing on the state of emergency motion brought forward by the government? So, but the National Assembly felt that this is the right opportunity for the institution to apply its separation of powers and then apply the principle of checks and balances, because government, the cabinet declared a state of emergency, somehow in implementation of emergency powers vested on the president by the 1997 constitution. So the parliament is now concerned as to what methodology or what principle or what reason was there for the president to definitely, just come before the public to say that, public gathering has to be banned. There should be no movement of people, or controlling the traffic. So all these issues that the National Assembly felt, its mandate to serve as check and balance on the government as a third arm of government, they need to check. And the best way they did it was to forward it to the select committee on human rights and constitutional matter that will now investigate and then go through all the merits and demerits of the declarations made by the president in implementation of the 1997 constitution. So this, today is supposed to be a very busy day because, the reports from that committee, if it was completed yesterday, is expected to be heard today before the general chamber.
All right. Now, of course, considering what happened yesterday, what is likely be the case? Would the motion proceed or not?
Yesterday the Minister of Justice, and who also is the Attorney General of the Gambia, argued with the National Assembly members that whether the President has acted constitutionally or not, or in line with principles or not, that is not for the National Assembly to discuss. It is for the court, which is another arm of government, the judiciary, to decide. But the National Assembly was like, the President made a declaration on the 18th of March, and after 10 days coming with another declaration, so that the gap is about 10 days now. And the situation being the application of emergency powers could only hold, especially for the situation of emergency, state of emergency, could last for 7 days in a case where the National Assembly is in session. For the case of Gambia, this assembly is actually in session, so meaning today is the last day for the national for the state of emergency declared by the president on the 27th March to elapse. So after today, it will have to go back to normal. But the Minister of Justice tried to convince the National Assembly that let them go ahead with the discussion whether to extend this emergency or not, and leave the interpretation of the law with the judiciary, but the National Assembly didn't agree, and they insisted that as an institution that is supposed to apply its principles of checks and balances need to work. Otherwise, there is no point of having the National Assembly.
Senior editor and correspondent of Africa, Ibrahima Prespa, thank you very much for your time, and we will leave it at that as we look forward to today's hearings.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.